Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya if you're new here, and today I'm super excited because I'm going to be doing a video that I have been wanting to do for a long time, and that is how to use fine liners in your coloring books. Now, I've given like tips in my coloring updates and in other little videos and shorts, but today I'm actually going to title it the way that it's supposed to be and really dedicate a video to it. Now, the title is a bit of a misnomer because there isn't a right or wrong way to use fine liners in your coloring books. There isn't a right or wrong way to use any medium in any form of art. But I am going to be showing you today how I like to use my fine liners in my coloring pages. So let's get into it. Now, what I have here are my Staedtler fine liners. I don't have the 60 set. A lot of these are old from when I first started coloring, and I still have them. They last forever. I think I've had these for like 8 years or more. And I did get a couple of new ones that ran out or open stock at Michael's, which is a craft store that we have here in the United States. And right here I have next to me a pack of 72 King Art fine liners. They're not bad either. They have a lot more colors, and I have been using them. They're not as good as the Staedtler in terms of like the felt tip, but it's still pretty good. So I'm happy to have these. King Art is a great company as well. Now, my first introduction to fine liners was when Lost Ocean came out. I kind of got these at the same time. After I saw the small detail in here, I purchased these. This is one of my first coloring supplies. And when I first started coloring, I just used them in small areas, just straight coloring. And I'm sure many of you guys do the same thing. Now, at the time, I did try to shade with them and do like a little bit of gradients here and there. But mostly I use them for just kind of straight coloring. See, here I tried to do some gradients and shading and stuff. This is a very old page when I first started coloring. I actually have to finish it and put it in my completed pages. But so that was my introduction to fine liners, and I'm sure many of you guys use it the same way. It's great for small detail, and I will show you a more recent page. Here it is, where I did use fine liners because this page, Fantasy Town, the Japanese coloring book, has really small details. So this is super, super tiny. So I did have to use fine liners. I did shade with them as well, but I also just did straight coloring with them because I use gel pens and fine liners because the detail is so, so small. So definitely I do use them for small details as well. But the main way that I use them is for shading, and that's what I'm going to show you now. So I pulled a couple of examples where I used fine liners, and I'm going to show you how I use them in the book. And a lot of these are recent pages because I don't remember like where I used, every medium. I use a lot of mediums in each page. So whatever page I remembered recently or in the past, I pulled it. Now, how I use fine liners, the main gist of it is that I use it for shading, mostly for shading. All of my darks, some of these are dark and you can't even tell. This is actually a dark color. But I use my darks a lot, and I'm going to show you how. Okay, in this book, Color Me Enchanted, I'm going to show you the page that I did a while ago. I'm going to bring you in, and let's get into it. So this is an example of where I would use it. So I just take my dark green and I'm adding it to the shading. And it just makes it even, just shade. That's where, imagine if I had just based it, you know what I mean? So, and then you can go on top with pencil. Now this page is already colored, so I'm just going on top to show you. But if you saw my process videos, then you would see how much it adds when you're actually coloring. This is already finished pretty much, but I'm just going to add a little darkness. So you see how it's so easy. I don't have to sharpen a pencil. I don't have to keep a fine point it keeps a fine point because it's a marker. So with pencils, this would be, I would have to press hard to get like a dark pigment for the shading. And also I would have to keep like sharpening my pencil. But here, I don't have to do that. So I'm just showing you how you can add darkness and shadow really, really quickly with a fine liner. Let's go to another area. You know what? Let's add a little bit of shading here. I'm not too precious about it. Okay, let's see. So we're like right over here. I would take this color. I try to find, you know, a color that matches, and it just adds that extra darkness. I want to show you, you know, the difference that it makes. You see the difference between this and this? This one has that extra darkness and it just looks better. Let's add it right here. Showing you this book really makes me want to go back to it. I actually want to color in here. That's why I pulled it out. Here I'm going to take a dark brown and add a little bit of darkness in the center of these flowers. See how quick that is? So I have an older video where I showed some coloring tips in this book, and I will show you. Here we are. So right here under these rocks in that video, I showed how I'm basically just adding a fine liner underneath each rock, like a line like this, and that's what makes the rocks pop out. You know what I mean? So that's all I did here in these rocks. I just added a line of fine liner. And that goes with any small detail. It's just so easy to add darkness with this. In the video, I also showed how I use my fine liners to add all of this shading. A lot of this shading is with fine liners. If I bring it close, you could see the lines. See the lines here of the fine liner? I used it under each strand to make it pop. See how the bottom of each strand has my brown fine liner in there. I hope you can see that. Now here in this, the castle tops, I did, I believe, Inktense, and then I went in with my fine liner just to go underneath each of these little tiles to make them pop, to like make them individual. I hope you could see that. That is actually with fine liner. See, it's very, very small. This is very, very small on the page. Look at the double page spread, how big it is. And this little area is very, very tiny. So you can use your fine liners to shade in the smaller areas. Okay, on my page that I'm working on in here, for example, this is Maria Troll's Drum Rice. In this blueberry here, I'm not done with it, or raspberry, blackberry, whatever it is, this berry, I decided to color it in purple. I based it with a water-based marker, and then I went in with my fine liners to add shading. And if I bring it up close, you could see the little dots. See that? So all the shading is done with my fine liners. And then to add a finishing touch, I might use a little bit of pencil to smooth that out, and I will cover the line with like a white or something, or a lighter color. But that is how you can really use fine liners for shading in small areas. Okay, let's put that away. Let's get another book. In this page, these are just pages that I did recently, so I remember. I'm going to bring you in closer, but from far away, it doesn't necessarily look like I use fine liners, but I'm going to bring you in closer and show you that I did. So right over here, let's bring you in. You see behind each cloud, there's dots and some scribbles. That is my fine liner. So I just add like, you know, a border behind all of the clouds. And then with a couple of colors, I think I used that color too. You see how I added little dots? And that creates shading. And I did that because if I wanted it to be this dark with a pencil, I would have to sharpen my pencil because it's a very detailed small area. And I would have to press hard. So this helps if you have problems in your wrist. Fineliners help a lot to get that darkness. You don't have to press a pencil really hard. Now let me show you the water. If you look here at the water, behind each wave, there are dots of fineliner. See that? I have a couple of colors that I use. Here's where I used a lot of my King Art ones because there's these like turquoisey colors. But if you look closely, you see the dots? I added blue down here, dots and darkness. So yeah, that's in the water. And that really makes these waves pop out. You know, if you want something light or bright to pop out, you really need to add shading next to it. That is the trick. Now let me show you here. You see the green dots? I added shading with Fineliner also here. You can see in behind these little tufts, I shaded with Fineliners also in here. I hope you could see that. And then also in the palm trees, my dark green, I added shading here at the edge here. Excuse my nails, I'm sorry. My nails chip really, really fast, even though I just did them like yesterday. So yeah, can you see those dots? That is all fineliner. But when you go far away and you pull out, you don't really notice that there's dots or anything. It just looks like shading and fineliners. I even added yellow dots here to add a little bit of yellow. Just because I was on a fineliner roll, you know, I could have done that with pencil. It's not a big deal, but we are on a fineliner video right now, so that's what I want to show you. See how the dots and all of that? So, yeah, you can even create a gradient. See how I used two blues here? There's also a lighter blue. So you can use your lighter colors as well. So that is in that book. Let me show you another example. This is where this page I showed you in my coloring updates, and a lot of people really appreciated it. If you look closely here, let me bring you in. The leaves here are shaded with Fineliner. All that dark green is Fineliner. And then the lighter green next to it is a lighter Fineliner. Because this is a very small areas, I really utilized my Fineliners. Also here. Here I added some purple, you know, that dark purple there. What else? Even here I added lines on her dress to add some darkness. This illustration has a lot of little areas that are very detailed. So all these leaves, the shading behind the berries, all this shading here, it's all Fineliners, if you could see. See that? Then when you pull out, see all that shading is Fineliners. You pull out, it really adds that darkness. And it really is very effective. So, and very easy on the wrist. I do want to make a video on how to color when your wrist hurts, because I do have some other tips. Oops. Too many video ideas, too little time. But yeah, so that is, excuse my voice. That is what I want to show you here. A lot of little details. I really use my Fineliners a lot here. And that's what kind of spurred me to make this video recently. Ooh, my voice, I'm sorry. The next example is, again, a recent page, because that's just what I remember. And I showed this to you guys in a little video. I don't know if it was this color or this color, maybe. I don't remember, but you see this shading here? I did it with Fineliners. Let me bring you in closer. So all this that you see, this darkness, is Fineliners. And I'm not precious about it. I just pretend like it's a pencil, you know. But it really adds that darkness instead of pressing hard again with a pencil. I keep repeating myself, but I really want to drive the point home. Here's my other ones that I did here. So if I bring it close, you could see it's kind of scribbly, but when you pull out, you can't really tell, you know. It looks good. See that? Looks like a shaded. It makes it like pop out at you. Okay, let's get another book. Underwater Worlds. What did I have here? Oh, finally, yes, I remember. Okay. Let me show you here. So behind each of these purple flowers, I added green because it's like a green bottle. Let me show you here. See here, I don't have it, so let me add that. And then I also did pencil. You see that? I did that around all of the flowers to make all the edges, all the corners. It's such a small area. But look how it makes the flower pop more. It kind of brings it out more to you when you have a dark around it. See that? Now, if I wanted, let me get my darker brown. For example, this is already a dark color, but I could shade these little brown specks of petals or foliage. I don't know what they are. See that? I could add shading to a small area if I wanted. And then here, you see these brown bulbs? If you look closely, you see the lines here? That's Fineliner. So I shaded on top of the alcohol marker with a Fineliner. And also here in her mermaid tail, I took my dark green and I added, you know, to define the scales. See that? So I defined the scales here. I also did it on this mermaid right here. Oh, if you look closely here, even on these leaves, let me bring you in closer. You see these little lines? I was just going like this to add some shading because I already had my Fineliners out. I could have done that with pencil, but I just did it with Fineliner. So you can shade with Fineliner. I did the same thing here. See on the coral, the red, these little red lines. Whoops. You see these little red lines? That is with a Fineliner. I also shaded here. You see these lines here, if you can look closely. Shading with Fineliners on that as well. And when you pull out, you know, you can't tell that you used a Fineliner. Who cares? It just adds so much darkness so easily. So that is my little video on Fineliners. It should be a quick video. Hopefully it's not too long. So yeah, you can use Fineliners in small details as well and create gradients because there are light colors. But don't forget to shade with them. Use your darker colors and shade in the little detailed areas. It adds so much darkness so easily without much effort. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you come back. I'm trying to upload on Fridays, so come back next Friday and see what's in store. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.